Okay, Bob, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Justin? All right, I call the open regular city council of assessors housing authority meeting of June 8, 2026 at 6:01 PM. Pastor Mike Mike. I know, he was in my youth group, I think. You were, weren't you? All right. And then, let's see, who would do the, Callie, you want to lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance after the prayer? Okay.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for our city. Thank you for those that serve our city so well, work for our city so well. And thank you for this council. May you grant them good wisdom to know what to do and courage to do it. God, thank you for this community. And I pray that we would honor each other in our discussions tonight. Whether we agree or disagree, may honor lead the way. We love you, and we thank you for loving us first. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please join the City Council and our community in the salute to our flag with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Ms. Anna, can you call roll call, please?
Councilmember Miller,
Here?
Councilmember Thorpe,
Here.
Councilmember Woolsey. Here. Deputy Mayor Bieber. Here. Mayor Venable.
Here.
All present.
Dr. Moore, do we have any changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor, Council.
All right. And this time, we're going to recognize Captain Travis, how do you pronounce his last name? Pay? All right.
Perfect timing. He'll be right back.
Just the way I'd like it.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. Today we recognize a man whose impact on this city and this fire department cannot be overstated, Fire Captain Travis Pay. He's being honored for 18 years of dedicated service to the city of Yucaipa. Captain Pay has been a pillar of reliability, professionalism, and has displayed a servant's heart for our next generation. His commitment to public education and youth outreach has been essential in our collaboration with the Yucaipa-Calamasa Unified School District. His leadership's been instrumental in programs such as the Law and Public Safety Academy, the Law and Public Safety Advisory Committee, the Every 15 Minutes program, and countless other initiatives that he strengthened the bond between our fire department, our school district, and our community. Operationally, Captain Pay has carried the significant responsibility of serving as a fire station manager. He served as the station captain at Fire Station 3 Wildwood for 5 years, where he helped open the brand new station. And he served the last 13 years at Station 552 Crafton Station, providing steady leadership, mentorship, and operational excellence. During some of our region's most challenging incidents, Captain Pay has served as a division group supervisor, leading operations on a major fire, on a small portion of a major fire, including the Sandalwood Fire and the Line Fire. His calm, decisive leadership protected lives, properties, and fellow firefighters during these moments of true crisis. Beyond the fire line, Captain Pay has contributed to the department in many corners of our organization, including the Unit Safety Committee, the Battalion Training Captain, Administrative Coordinator for Vector Solutions, and our apprenticeship program, shaping our next generation of firefighters with the same dedication he has brought every day to his assignment. For more than a decade, he has also been one of the driving forces behind one of our most cherished traditions with the Toys for Yucaipa. Under his leadership, tens of thousands of toys were delivered to families in need, His compassion has touched homes across the city and brought joys to countless children. Captain Pay is now transferring to his new assignment at Prado Conservation Camp as a hand crew captain, where he will continue to lead with the same integrity, strength, and commitment that defined his service here. But let it be known, as part of the city record, Fire Captain Travis Pay will always be known as Yucaipa Fire Department Captain, no matter where his future journey takes him. Captain Pay, on behalf of the City of Yucaipa, CAL FIRE San Bernardino Unit, and the community you serve with honor, thank you for 18 years of your service. You will be deeply missed. But before we go, I do want to bring Callie Binks up to say a few words.
Thank you, Chief. Honorable Council, it's a great moment to get to recognize someone who's contributed so much to our community. And dare I say, it makes me a little emotional because our kids love Captain Pay. They love him and respect him. And he has done so much for our youth. And just to give you a little bit of information, we'll be honoring him tomorrow night as well at the Board of Education meeting and presenting him with the gift. But as our chief said, he's been an integral part of the Law and Public Safety Academy. And I've had the opportunity to go to a couple fire station dinners where we've walked in and our students, our former students, have been there working at the fire department. And so that's a legacy that he leaves behind going to his new assignment. But we are so very grateful. He had the opportunity for the past 9 years to be an integral part in the inception of our Law and Public Safety Academy at the high school. He has been an indispensable partner and mentor. He has had such a commitment that on the opportunities that he's been able to take students to the stations, or even on his days off, he would come in and support and bridge the gap between the knowledge of learning in the classroom about what it's like to be a firefighter or a paramedic or just serve in this kind of role. He bridged the gap with our teachers and filled that real world experience in public service. Some of the key contributions: 9 years of continuous service, supporting growth and development of the academy since day one. Hands-on learning, opening the doors to Station 552 to provide students invaluable immersive training and practical skills. I just had the opportunity to watch students do, is it called a rope up?
Yeah, over the side drill.
Over the side drill, where they were pulling up someone on a gurney with a simulation of a broken leg and so on. It was phenomenal to watch the teamwork and what the students did to have that real life experience with our firefighters. Ride-along experiences, firsthand look at the realities of what it's like to be a firefighter, dedication, teamwork, which it was expressed in that activity, and many others, and what's required of someone who serves in emergency services. Now, I know we have several people on the council that serve serves the public through emergency services, but we all know the adage, everybody loves a fireman, sorry. And with that, I have to say, we love you, Captain Pay. You have been amazing for us, and you have developed more first responders that'll live in your legacy and create their own legacies because of the work you did. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. It's a real honor to be here, especially with my brothers and sisters back there along the wall that are going to carry on the next piece. You guys heard about the Public Safety Academy. We do contribute to police too. So we lose our funnels of where we're getting the next generation from. When I came through, it was all volunteer companies, and there was one in every fire station, and those are gone because of the liability and stuff. So those things are super hard to support. So the funnels on where we're gonna get our next generation is probably from that high school. So I do truly cherish your guys' support on that, and that continues to support to make that happen. And I would appreciate it through the years as we go through, that you guys, when they come up to vote on stuff like that and our contribution to that, you support that. Also, I'd like to thank my family for being here, super nice. And the best thing I take away from the city of Yucaipa is that beautiful wife right there. So we met in the LPS Academy, and I'm taking her with me. So she's the solid one that I really appreciate everything we do. And she supported me through all this, and she's taught me a lot, and she's helped me lean into the kids and help support those kids in their journey also. So thank you.
We have somebody that wants to ask a question real quick.
We just want to comment. So why don't you have your beautiful wife come up from the school district? So a lot of people don't know how much you really meant to the school district, and I got the opportunity to hear and see what you did. But the number one thing I remember about you're just a good man, and that's awesome. You have a great family. You got a wonderful partner there, Jamie. She does a great job at our school district. You have the superintendent here tonight. That is part of community collaboration, us working with the school district. And your heart was always in it. You're producing well, future recruits, hopefully, right, Chief? And they'll do well at grooming them, basically getting them at the cadet level on up or whatever is the best way to hire people. We know who they are. You get to work with them. And you kind of get to see, get them on the road to doing things right, which means have a good background, don't speed or anything. So, but I just wanted to say you're a good man. I've had the pleasure of meeting you before, and I'm glad you're here tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can we get a picture? But I got a special request because I can't make it down steps because I got my little scooter here. Can we do it up here? Yeah. Okay.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much. Now we have, pardon? Yeah. Now we have the proclamation of Flag Day, and Deputy Mayor is going to read.
Proclamation of the City of Yucaipa declaring June 14th, 2026 as Flag Day. Whereas the Knights of Columbus was the founding fraternal organization that initiated the inclusion of the phrase "One Nation Under God" in the United States Pledge of Allegiance. And whereas in 1954, the United States Congress formally adopted the phrase "One Nation Under God" into the Pledge of Allegiance and presented it to Dwight D. Eisenhower, President of the United States, for approval. And whereas June 14th, 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the law adding the words "One Nation Under God" to our nation's Pledge of Allegiance. And whereas the United States of America recognizes the following Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Yucaipa, California hereby proclaims June 14th, 2026 as Flag Day. It is affixed with the city's seal as well as the signatures of the City Council 2026.
Thank you, Justin.
And we do have the Knights of Columbus here that are ready to accept the proclamation. I believe they have a few words to say.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Venerable, Mayor Pro Tem Beaver, Council Members Miller, Council Members Thorpe, and Council Members Woolsey, City staff, and guests. My name is Dr. Don Averill, and I serve as the Financial Secretary of St. Francis Xavier Cabrini, Council 9679 here in Yucaipa, and as a trustee of the Knights of Columbus, Martin A. Maddich Assembly 3133. On behalf of our assembly, I would like to sincerely thank the mayor, city council, and the city of Yucaipa for your continued support and for annually recognizing the importance of Flag Day and the historic contribution of the Knights of Columbus in helping promote the inclusion of the words "under God" into the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954. As our nation prepares to celebrate the 250th anniversary of American independence, we are especially grateful for opportunities such as this to honor our country's history, heritage, and the values that unite us in America. We are proud to continue promoting patriotism, civil involvement, and respect for our nation's flag and the freedom it represents. Thank you, and God bless America. And I would like to also recognize the captain, and I was the chancellor of the San Bernardino Community College District, Chancellor Emeritus, and we have long prepared the firemen for this county and appreciate the effort of CAL FIRE.
Thank you. Would you like to get a picture?
You can go that way. There's a little ramp right here.
We weren't on the last one. I know that.
Trying to get him to move over.
Stomping directly. That's what I should have done. He would have flew. Perfect. Thanks, Doctor.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2. Thank you.
All right, Anna, do we have? You ready for me?
I'm ready for you.
How about public comment?
Okay. We will start with Richard Frost, followed by Terry Boone.
Richard Frost, Yucaipa. Yeah, I just wanted to comment about there's a lot of dogs that really aren't under control where I live. There's two instances. Because animal control is county, of course, and they're spread out so far. They should have more people in Yucaipa. I know where I live, they had about 6 dogs were loose. I think the owner was in prison, then he got back, and there was a warrant for his arrest. I didn't want to go home, So, but I called my council person, they helped with that. And then, like all dogs have some amount of wolf DNA, and I've had to file 2 complaints against my neighbor because she's a flimsy fence for a bulldog, which is friendly, got loose a couple of weeks ago, wanted to meet my dog, but fortunately he's friendly, but she didn't apologize or anything like that. People just take this casually because a lot of big dogs, have these fences that they can break out of. And it's, it's kind of a problem sometimes, but, because, of course, San Bernardino County is the biggest county geographically in the country. It goes all the way up to the Nevada border, so, but they should have more agents in Yucaipa. I know if you call them on Sunday, it's not too bad, but Saturdays, they're really booked solid. And when I kept calling them this one Saturday, and they just kind of brushed it off, because I'd called them several times, but then they showed up right away on Sunday. So anyway.
Thank you.
Terry Boone, followed by Kelly Binks.
Terry Boone, Yucaipa Ridge Road. I am here to speak tonight to make sure that the City Council and the community are aware of the communication between the City Attorney's Office and the CEQA attorney for Serrano Lake or Serrano Estates and the Wine Country Specific Plan. On April 15th, the City Attorney, Derek Cole, sent a message to the CEQA attorney. The Yucaipa City Council has authorized us to communicate offers to settle the Wine Country and Serrano Estates cases. The offers are for dismissals of both action in exchange for cost waivers, each side to bear its own fees. If agreed, the parties would enter into standard settlement agreements providing for the usual releases. In response, Corey Briggs, the attorney for Serrano Estates and Wine Country Specific Ban, countered on April 28th. My clients respectfully reject your client's settlement offer and provide the following counter offer for both lawsuits. Number 1, all lots in Serrano Estates and Wine Country Specific Plan should be no smaller than 20,000 square feet, consistent with the custom overlay requirements. The intent of the 2016 General Plan of R1 zoning is inconsistent in the current zoning designation and definition of 1 acre lot size. Number 2, animal husbandry shall be allowed. Number 3, remove senior living and HOA restrictions. Number 4, no wine tasting venues on the North Bench where access requires driving through residential areas near schools, parks, or horse riding and bicycling areas. Number 5, require an EIR on Serrano Estates and rescind the density entitlement. Number 6, create conservation easements in the Wine Country Specific Plan to prevent the open space from being converted to housing in the future with a vote from the council. The concern being that the grape vineyards would be turned into more dense housing bonus entitlements. And number 7, reimburse my client's attorney fee cost, currently in the $100,000 range. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of the communications between the attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly Binks, followed by Pat Hull.
Good evening again, Honorable Mayor and Council. I am here this evening on behalf of the Yucaipa Calimesa School Board of Education and our district administration. And I am here to speak about the fabulous service that we're receiving from Yucaipa Police Department, but especially from one Mr. Sergeant Ryan Ford, who's on graveyard, and I believe he's here. Come on down. And by the way, everyone loves a police officer too, including me. I married one. Now that the fire department's gone. I wanted to speak a little bit about the service that Sergeant Ford has provided the school district. It has been an honor to get a call from him in the middle of the night. whether it's 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m., or when he's leaving a shift. Now, grown so confident that a few of those times I haven't answered my phone. But because of sleeping through those calls, I knew when I woke up and saw, oh shoot, I missed a call from Sergeant Ford, I knew that he had done exactly what I would have asked of him, because we've developed this ability to communicate on things from whether it be maybe a suspected abuse case or a suspected suicide case. We have Stop It, that is our alert app that goes in, and if we don't catch it, it goes directly to the police department, and their response has been amazing. So I thank our captain as well, but specifically this is for the proactivity that Sergeant Ford demonstrates every time he's on his shift, whether that is locking our high school gates, which, as everybody in the community knows, is an ongoing worry about keeping those gates locked. If it's proactive policing, because we know that a senior prank is coming, whether it's knowing that there's activity on our campuses that doesn't seem normal and regular, he'll give me a call. And so this is one of the proactivity pieces he had, this blue lock. So one of the things he said is that everybody on Graveyard doesn't have the opportunity to learn our campuses. So he asked if we could double lock and put a blue lock on, so that when they're on their shift, he could take them around and make sure they're driving our campuses so that they know what our campuses look like. And so that's the kind of proactive policing that he does. And he's just a really, really nice person as well. And I appreciate his sense of humor and how he works with us in the school district. You have to stay up late to talk to him, but it's worth it. And so this says, presented to Sergeant Ryan Ford by the Yucaipa-Calimesa Joint Unified School District Board of Education and District Administration, with deep gratitude for the unwavering dedication, exceptional service in protecting and supporting the schools of our community. And I'll tell you, the other very grateful group that's represented in the administration is our principals, because he is so proactive at working the cases, but by the time they get to work, they know what they need to do for student discipline when something has occurred that was nefarious. So thank you, Sergeant Ford. I really appreciate you.
It's great working with you. Thank you.
Pat Hull, followed by Gary, is it Eberhard?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. My name is Pat Hall. I live at 35623 Carter Street, and where I have lived for 24 years. Thank you for your service and your past support to our city. I appreciate it very much. I'm here to ask you to address hazardous speeding on Carter Street in the North Bench. Carter Street is straight as an arrow, 2-mile downhill run that encourages acceleration and sustained speed with only one stop sign. Now, you might recall I was here years ago to ask you to put that stop sign in, and you did. That was immediately after a car lost control and crashed into the house across the street from me. My son was here. He spoke to you. He was about 12 years old. And thank you for putting that stop sign in, but it's no longer adequate. It's common for vehicles to fly past my house at a speed I would not even estimate. It's easy to listen to motorcycles because you can hear them shift gears, right? They pass my house at the top of third gear, going to fourth. And I Googled, how fast does an average crotch rocket go in third gear? A medium-sized crotch rocket, 65 to 85. A full liter sport bike, 120 miles an hour. I know I've seen motorcycles come down my street at over 100 miles an hour. That sounds outrageous, but if you want to check my facts, please Google it. You'll see I'm correct. I have turned in so many reports on the city app that one of the city engineers called me personally on my cell phone, and he said, Pat, if you want to make a difference, what you need to do is get a petition from all your neighbors and bring it to the city council. And that is what I am here to present to you this evening. I have a copy for you. It's signed by 26 residents, and we are requesting review and corrective measures, maybe another stop sign, maybe speed humps are appropriate. Speed humps are present in other similar locations, like First Street, which is parallel just a couple streets over. I will tell you this, every single person that I spoke to immediately recognized the urgency and signed off. And I almost got tired of hearing the stories of the close calls, the people that got hit backing out of their driveways, the close calls walking dogs, there's horses on Carter Street sometimes. It's just insanity. And there was even a fatality down at Bryant Street shortly after I moved in. If my name looks familiar, it's because my wife and I led the, at the time, rather high-profile charge to address the chicken ranch flies in Yucaipa. And this council's common sense action was fantastic. And I'm escalating it to you and insisting on your action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary Eberhard, followed by Holly Warner Kirkwood.
Can you get that to Fermin?
I'll take it over here, sir.
Oh, Anna.
Well, good evening, Gary Eberhart, and I live on Carter Street with, next door to Pat. You know, I came to Yucaipa in 1974 as a brand new highway patrol officer. So I'm very familiar with Yucaipa. I've been here for many years, and I went ahead and promoted up through the highway patrol, and I retired as a assistant chief, and decided, hey, Yucaipa is the place to make my home. I'm very respectful of our police department. These guys do a great job. And I want to make it very clear that sometimes to our sheriffs and people who have to do criminal law, traffic law might not be a priority. And it's not something that we can really deal with because we have so much crime and other things they're responding to and the other things they have to deal with. But I've seen that and the street up there with a little enforcement, a little radar, we could probably bring some of this back into where it needs to be. Between 7 and 9 in the mornings and in the afternoon, 4 to 8, it's the wild, wild west. There's no law, nobody controlling the speed, and we're gonna get somebody hurt. My wife pulled out of her driveway, our driveway, and was hit. So we have some personal experience with this speed. My wife was hit, she wasn't hurt, but she was hit by a kid that was excessive speeding on his cell phone. So it's just hard to put this on to our police department, but I think we have to put it there to some degree with all due respect to my colleagues. I'm so used to sitting over there and not sitting up here, so it's kind of hard to do this. But I know that we can affect this by enforcement. And I don't know, I would also request that your staff look at this. I think a three-way stop at Ramona and Carter would help us because once they leave that stop sign on Fremont, they're freewheeling all the way down to Bryant. And some of the speed is absolutely incredible. And now we have a new item is little electric bikes all over the place. So that just adds to it. So what's my position? I would ask the board to look at some traffic for that stop sign at Ramona and let your staff look at this because it's something that if we don't really get a handle on it, somebody's gonna really get hurt up there. As Pat has said, we've had some really nasty incidents. And all we need is one where we have a fatality of a small child. We have children that are in the street all the time. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Holly Warner Kirkwood, followed by Mary Reuter.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, thank you for your consistent support of Yucaipa Calamasa Family Assistance. As you know, I'm the coordinator there. For those who don't know or aren't familiar with it, Family Assistance is a 501c3 nonprofit organization serving low-income families in our community since 1949. We offer a free food pantry, low-cost thrift store, and donation center from our address at 35075 Avenue B in Yucaipa. We're open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 3. Our operation is only possible thanks to the hard work of over 40 dedicated volunteers. Through our food pantry, we're currently serving over 500 households a month. 40% of our clients are seniors, many of whom are veterans. The rising cost of living has been particularly hard for those living on fixed incomes. Right now, less than 1% of our clients are unhoused. In recent years, demand at our food pantry has skyrocketed. We're now serving 3 times as many clients as we were around January of 2023. Fortunately, in our efforts, we're blessed by the support of many local organizations, including Kiwanis, Lions Clubs, Women's Club, Alpha Delta Kappa Society, and many of our local churches. Today, we hope the council will approve our request for a community activity grant to maintain our aging facility. Our building needed a new roof and an accessible ramp into our food shed. Thank you for your consideration and continued support.
Thank you.
Mary Reuter, followed by David Enos.
Well, hello, council members and mayor. Mary Reuter, I live on the North Bench, and I am also, I can't look at y'all with those on, and now I can't read. I am a business owner in Uptown. Most of y'all know that. And I just want to speak briefly about the Bites and Beats concert with Alexandra Kay. I got it right this time. That was held a couple of weeks ago. This was a first-time event, Bites and Beats, in which local businesses, uptown businesses, were invited to bring some of their products and serve to the attendees at the concerts who had bought the Bites tickets. It was a great event, and because it was the first time, there were a couple of hiccups, but I do know that every single participant that I spoke to, participant that I spoke to, was absolutely excited for the opportunity to do this, to promote their businesses this way, and we were all very pleased by the response of the attendees. Let's see. This past year has been very tough for a lot of the uptown businesses due to the economy. We've even seen a few of the uptown businesses close. But having the city and YPAC support and promote our businesses with events like this was incredibly encouraging. And it's something that I have wanted to see for a number of years. The YPAC staff at the event were friendly, very helpful, and quite efficient during setup, throughout the concert, and then during teardown. They made it very, very easy. And they were very enthusiastic about the bites that we served them, because every one of us made too many. You know, we didn't want to run out. So we made sure to share them with all the staff. So in closing, well, what I'd like to say is thank you to Sydney and to Megan, who worked on this event, who were the backbone of it. They were absolutely wonderful, very communicative. So thank you, Megan. I don't see Sydney. And what some of the businesses would like, because I talk to a lot of the uptown businesses on a regular basis, what we really would appreciate is doing this again, yes. And I'll just tell you, come to me first again, because I will say, I'm in. But what we'd like is a little bit of dialogue so that we can talk about what was great and what was not, and what we'd like to change. And in closing, I would like to wish everybody in Yucaipa a happy Pride Month.
Thank you.
David Enos, followed by Ro Randolph.
Your Honor, council members, my name is David Enos. Last year, I had the privilege of speaking to the council regarding a 501c3, which was started through my wife and I. In November of 2024, Poema Youth Center was born. This evening, I've come to provide an update as well as a community challenge. Up front, and as a disclaimer, I would like to state that I absolutely fear public speaking. I loathe it. That is, unless my passion for something overrides that fear. My family and friends know this to be 100% true.
being that my passions are God, my wife, my kids, grandkids, and of course, music. Tonight would be one of those rare exceptions. So my wife Jean and I have been in Yucaipa, we've been Yucaipa residents since September of 2007. For the last 15 years, we've been business owners. We own the money-making business, which is Bella Capelli Beauty Salon, and the fun business, Psalm 33 Music Academy, which are literally located right across the street. I am a Christian. In general, all Christians have been given a mandate to serve. Sometimes the service is a pleasure. However, sometimes the service can tend to be a bit of a burden. I say the word burden not to invoke a sense of something that is a laborsome and inconvenient, but something that drives us forward, something that won't go away. One such burden for me is our youth. The youth of today are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. The type of leaders that will become depends solely on how we as adults lead them today. If we don't lead them with humility and integrity, then most assuredly something will lead them astray. With the current epidemic of broken marriages and families, children always become the collateral damage. With the absence of leadership in the home, where do the children turn? That's rhetorical, of course. It doesn't have to be. Tonight, I would like to present an exciting and effective alternative. In 1996, the rock icon Alice Cooper started a nonprofit called Alice Cooper Solid Rock Teen Center. It started in Phoenix, Arizona, but was so effective that other locations were added in surrounding cities. Modeled in part after Solid Rock Teen Centers, Poema Youth Center provides music and creative arts to be offered free of charge from youth from all backgrounds, a way to express their creativity in a safe and inviting atmosphere. Modeled in part after Solid Rock, the vision of Poema has been presented to city business leaders and community, to which each individual has stated the exact same thing. We really need this in our community. I am just one man with a vision. I'm basically just a guitar player with an overwhelming burden. In order to move forward, we need like-minded individuals, logistical thinkers, doers, the boots on the ground, and most importantly, the financial support to help make this all happen. In closing, I'd like to take the time for our vision. The time that I have doesn't take up this all. We have handouts that we can give to everybody at the end of the council meeting. I hate speaking. So anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Ro Randolph.
Ro Randolph here. I am here to talk about the speed on Colorado Hills. Just like the other folks here tonight, we're in trouble. You know, I care about so many things in Yucaipa, but I've had so many neighbors come to me and text me and email me, and we're in trouble. And I know you guys know it. I mean, you guys are professionals, you guys work in the industry, but we gotta figure it out. We've had, 3 deaths, a lot of incidents. We're in trouble, 4. You know, so well, we have a lot of issues back and forth on economics, but this is different, okay? I propose, I've been looking at it, I go set up and I don't go to the North Bench and look at their incidents, but I think economically, speed bumps, humps, I've talked to Fermin and Sean, we're gonna do a study up on Colorado Hills. I've talked to the captain over there, we're talking back and forth, trying to figure out a strategic plan. But somebody's gonna get another, we don't want that. So let's do some preventative, we need an action plan. So if we did more speed bumps or humps on the stem roads, Colorado, 14th, Bryant, Avenue E, and maybe at the beginning of Oak Glen, because that's such a big corridor, we can really probably control some of that opposed to hiring more police, which we obviously know the last meeting was $780,000 for 2 new officers to come on board. But like the gentleman said before, they're already stretched so thin. So we need a 24-hour solution. And I do believe that would work. I'm all open to any suggestions because we're gonna start losing more. Yucaipa, I've been here my whole life. It was always senior citizens, watch out for them, might bump your car. People are getting killed. And there's so many people moving into our town. And it's becoming kind of lawless society. You guys see it, I'm sure, I see it, but I gotta stand up and say, hey, This is where we're all got to work together more now than ever, because we're really in trouble. So think about the speed bumps. I mean, I've talked to the gentleman on staff. I've had many of my neighbors row, oh my gosh. I'm like, I know. I'm trying, I'm going to get the word out and try to do something to try to help, because Colorado used to be Avenue F. What do they call Avenue F? Fast and Furious. And it is no joke. I mean, they book at 60 miles an hour, and we have people moving into the neighborhood that are not from here. So they walk with their kids on tricycles and their little mom and dads, and cars just go flying by. And I sit up there on my roof and just watch it, going, oh my God, somebody's gonna. So look it up. I mean, 500,000, I think we could probably pull off speed bumps, humps all over. I looked up some numbers compared to hiring more officers who are already stretched so thin. Let's help me, please. That's all I got to say. Just want to put on the record. Please help us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have no more cards for general public comment.
All right. So now we're coming up to the consent agenda. And that's items 1 through 15. If anybody has any wishes to remove any.
Remove?
First, we have to declare conflict of interest.
Oh, is there
So,
any? Yes.
I have 2 items. 3 and 17 that I want to recuse myself from. 3 is the check registry and 17 is the sheriff's contract. So both dealing with the sheriff's department. Because of my course of employment, I'll have to recuse myself from those 2 items.
Okay.
So on 17, I'll probably step out for that one.
Okay.
I'd like to pull 6, please.
Okay. Anybody else? Would you guys? All right, so we have a conflict on 3 in the consent. And then we're going to pull item number 6. So 1 through 5 and 7 through 15. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, item number 6.
Just waiting for it to load, council member. While it loads, I'll give a staff report from memory. You have the remote participation in tech disruption policy. Earlier, we gave a presentation on the effects of SB 707, which requires effective July 1st that most municipalities have 2-way audio visual participation for members of the public. I call it the Zoom bill. I don't know if we're going to use Zoom. We are going to use Zoom. As part of that, we need to have a policy in place for what happens if the Zoom goes down. And so we're following the requirements of state law with this policy, which requires that we have this policy in place, that we adopted at a regular meeting. The policy requires that in the event of a tech disruption, now that means our technology stopped working. It doesn't mean that your phone stopped working or you don't know how to use it. But if our technology stops working for any reason, then staff will work diligently to try to get it back online. If for some reason we can't get it back online within an hour, the city council will have the option to continue the meeting or to recess the meeting until it can be fixed. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about the policy.
I was reviewing the agenda after lunch before we came here, and I forgot to ask a question on this morning. Where are we in as far as our equipment and everything? Don't we have to have new equipment up here or something to be able to meet requirements that were laid on us by July 1st?
That's a great question, and I'll turn it over to your Director of General Services.
Councilmember Woolsey, new equipment is not required, so we will be using the Zoom feature. That is something that we have purchased, working with IT to purchase that, and so that will be implemented for your first meeting, your only meeting in July. We are looking to maybe do some upgrades eventually to the council chambers, some technology upgrades that we'd be using PEG funding for that. But that's going to be a little bit later down the road. We do have to go out to RFP for that. But for the time being, it's just going to be Zoom, and we will be publishing all that information on the agenda. It won't necessarily affect you guys at the dais, it'll be more so allowing for the public to join remotely.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted an update on that.
You're welcome.
All right, so do we have a motion on number 6?
I moved to approve 6.
Okay, we got a first,
I'll second.
got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's move off to number 16. Review and consider the fiscal year. Ms. Anna?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Item number 16 tonight is the review and consideration of fiscal year 2026-27 community activity grant applications. At the March 23rd regular City Council meeting, the City Council reviewed the CAG program guidelines and directed staff to budget $20,000 for financial and $40,000 for in-kind grants. The grant opportunity notice was released and 24 grant applications were received. The CAG Ad Hoc Committee met on Monday, May 11th to review and recommend financial and/or in-kind support for council consideration. The table on page 338 of your agenda packet and highlighted on the screen includes the name of the requesting applicant, a brief description of their proposed project scope, the total support requested, and the Ad Hoc Committee recommended awards. We have several applicants here this evening, so at this time, I will pause my presentation for public comment, if that's okay. Okay, we will start with Jolene Gustafson, followed by Zuli Martinez.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Jolene Gustafson, and I am here on behalf of Donna Solomon as a representative for Garden Works for Kids here in Yucaipa on Bryant Street. We want to thank you guys for your continued support every year. Garden Works for Kids is a nonprofit botanical learning garden right here in Yucaipa dedicated to getting kids off the screens and into nature by offering hands-on nature plays, summer camps, and field trips. We help children of all ages, especially those from 2 to 5, discover the outdoor connection with peers and build confidence. In today's fast-paced digital world, it's easier than ever for kids to become disconnected from nature. At Garden Works for Kids, we are on a mission to change that. Garden Works for Kids is the perfect place for children to slow down, explore freely, and fall in love with nature. We provide the fresh air and the social interaction that they all need to thrive. What actually happens when a child comes to Garden Works? They get to be a kid. We provide safe, immersive outdoor environment where children can dig in the dirt, plant, watch, grow, interact with animals, and learn about various insects, butterflies, and the environment. During our various events, all that visit learn teamwork, resilience, social and emotional learning, and curiosity as they watch their hard work grow from a seed to a beautiful plant. The need for outdoor nature-based education is higher than ever. By supporting Garden Works for Kids, you are helping to keep our program accessible to schools, homeschools, daycares, sensory-sensitive friends and families, maintain and expand our interactive child-safe garden zones, provide scholarships so that every child, regardless of background, can experience the magic of the garden. So we invite you to join our growing community whether you want to volunteer your time or be part of the soon-to-be Monarch Pavilion that will be encompassing us, or attend one of our events or make a donation. Your support directly impacts the lives of our children. Let's work together to cultivate wonder, encourage health, outdoor play, and grow greener, happier generations for all. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Zuli Martinez, followed by George Sardison.
Good evening, council members. My name is Zuli Martinez, representing Yucaipa Valley Art Association. We are a community and Yucaipa-based nonprofit group that was established in 1981. We have been in the community for 45 years. We want to thank the City of Yucaipa for your continued support with the community activity grants. Those grants have helped us give a actually have a space to have our activities and to promote artists in the community. We would like to acknowledge the efforts of Megan Wolf and her staff to help us coordinate and promote artists in our community. They have worked very hard, and we're very thankful for her efforts. The Yucaipa Valley Art Association participated in this year's Music and Arts Festival and Winterfest. We have done that year after year, and we're very happy to do so, again, to include artists and photographers in that event. We also included Yucaipa Valley High School students, working with the teacher at the high school to promote art for high school students. Let's see, we collaborate with the Yucaipa Performing Arts to also promote artists and to feature art at the gallery, and also to have meetings at the Shear. This June, YVAA awarded 2 scholarships to graduating high school students, and again, that is our way of giving back to the community. The grant funding helps us provide a location at the Shear Center to have our meetings, to have artists and photographers meet up and show their artistic talent, and to promote art in the community. Again, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
George Sardison, followed by David Devon.
Good evening, Mayor Venable and Council. George Sardison here. I'm appearing before you on behalf of the Yucaipa Calamasa Veterans Committee. And I'm trying to get back in the groove a little bit. I haven't been at the speaking in front of you for some time. I was dealing with a few medical issues, but I'm glad to get back and address you. We want to thank you for allowing us to apply again for our Veterans Day event in November. Thanks to the ad hoc committee for continuing to recommend that we be offered or given the in-kind for the use of the amphitheater and shelter. And in advance, thanking the council for approving that in your group here right now. And if any of you were at the Memorial Day program and I wasn't aware of your presence, I apologize. I know I announced the mayor, and we always like to let the dignitaries be announced if possible. So if any of you were there and I didn't see you or you didn't announce to me, I apologize for that. But make up for it on November 11th. We'll be out there at the community park. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, George. And you did a great job at Memorial Day. You did a great job.
David Devon, followed by Chris Markarian.
Good evening, Mayor Venable, members of City Council and staff. My name is David Devon. I reside at El Dorado Palms Mobile Home Estates. I am the recording secretary for the Yucaipa Mobile Home Residents Association and a member of the Love Yucaipa Committee. Our leader, Randy Balling of Grace Point Fellowship, regrets not being here today. He's on vacation with his family. Personally, I was not involved with Love Yucaipa and Calamasa last year, but I was very impressed this year, the second of Love Yucaipa, with how the community was able to come together to accomplish a myriad of projects in just a few hours of work. Collaborating with businesses, service organizations, churches, city officials, city workers, nonprofit organizations, schools, mobile home parks, and citizens, both young and old. In 2026, with nearly 300 volunteers, we were able to bring more than 20 projects to fruition. We were also fortunate to receive in-kind gifts, which helped to cut down on our expenses. Donations of coffee and breakfast to the service rally at the community park energized the group before they set out to their respective tasks. We also received donations of tools, supplies, and products which were used to accomplish our goals for the day. Our leaders were instrumental in fulfilling the objectives put before them, whether painting or spreading mulch at Yucaipa parks, cleaning up at the high school, assisting mobile home park residents, to name a few. The Volunteer Day allowed our community to come together to make a difference all over Yucaipa. We would appreciate your financial support as we go forward with Love Yucaipa once again in 2027. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. Chris Markarian. I live in the North Bench, and I'm still flying the tallest flag in this town, so I'm looking forward to our flag at the city. I'm here on behalf of the Yucaipa Rotary Club today. I first invite any of you or the city staff or police or fire to come and join and become a member of the Rotary Club. We used to have city council and city staff and police and fire involved. We don't at this time, so we'd love to have you guys. And then 2 thank yous. The big thank you for our city manager, stepped up big time and helped us out with securing the senior center where we meet 3 times a month. And big thank you to Megan Wolf for scrambling and getting us in here for the community activity grant. And we appreciate the in-kind donations. I also believe that we have a line item budget for the Christmas parade. This is our 250th anniversary of our country. We have big Independence Day, which we're looking forward to the nice 4th of July event. But this Christmas parade will be a patriotic theme, celebrating our country's 250th. So the Yucaipa Rotary Club has taken this on from the Lions Club for the 8th year. We will be hosting the biggest event in our town where over 10,000 people line up the streets from California all the way to 7th Street. And our superintendent, the wonderful Callie Binks, is always with me, making sure we get our 120 participants in line from California Street and send you guys down safely. There's over $5,000 in cost in that, which is why we really appreciate us being on the line item for the budget for the city with the $2,500. And we, the Rotary Club also, I want to let you guys know that we gave over $30,000 in scholarship this year. Part of the cost that it takes to run the parade is portable bathrooms, the golf carts that we use to go up and down, the candy that Santa has to give to everyone on the path of the parade. We have 2 announcing stations that are manned. We're looking to hopefully expand that into possibility of 3 stations so we get more people involved in the participants coming down. We give scholarships to Crafton Hills paramedics team that come out and help clean up before Public Works gets out there. And we also have a big thank you, a small donation to the Yucaipa High School Law and Public Safety Academy students that come out and help. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for your continued support. And we look forward to another beautiful Christmas parade with all of you on the beautiful truck and all the fancy stuff that we do. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes our public comments for this item. The
Okay.
recommendation tonight is that the City Council review and consider the fiscal year 26-27 CAG grant awards recommended by the ad hoc committee as detailed on the screen. We ask that you determine that the Childhood Cancer Foundation of Southern California should be exempt from the grant guideline that requires the organization to be located in Yucaipa if their community activity grant is awarded, and provide further direction to staff.
Okay. Well, thank you. Judy, you want to start us off?
Sure. This would be my suggestions, Anna. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Active Church, none.
And
On
we're-
both?
On both.
On both?
Do you want to go down the list of financial first and then
Yeah.
we'll circle? Okay.
Okay, we can do that. The council, well, let's just take them as they come, okay?
Okay.
That'll be quicker, maybe. The Cancer Foundation, the in-kind, yes. Garden Works, I'm suggesting what they requested, the full amount of $2,500.
Okay.
Grace Point, neither one. Green Valley, none. Inland Leaders Charter School, the in-kind for 810. The Adopt a Classroom, none. The Center for Music and Creative Arts, none. The Yucaipa Cat Project, I suggest 4,000. How much do we give to GAPS?
I believe we budget 10,000.
Yeah, and feral cats in this community is terrible. Our coyote population likes them, but they really are an issue. The Seeds of Hope, none. Smiles for Seniors, 1,500. Family Assistance, 2,000. And the Girls Softball Association, they requested 9,000, and I think they should have that full 9,000. When you look at what they applied for and what they need, I think that's important. The boys get their fields equipped and taken care of, and the girls feel like, you know, that they are neglected, and I would like to see them receive the full 9,000. The Veterans Day, the in-kind, 942, absolutely. All the other in-kinds are okay. And the last one, for the basketball season, they requested 1,000, and they're in-kind, and those are fine. Now, I want to say something, because this is the third time now that we have voted on Love Yucaipa, and the council already knows my opinion of giving money to faith-based organizations. And Active Church is my church. And it breaks my heart that I'm not going to vote to give them money. However, I do give to those projects because I tithe, I give to my church. And those projects that they put on, and they do a great job, and they do so much in this community, and they do it from the membership that gives. And Active Church will continue to do these projects, whether they get this grant or not, because that's the church that they are.
And just a quick question, point of clarification. When you said the remainder are fine, did you mean you're fine with the ad hoc committee's recommendation?
On the in-kind, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so with Councilmember Woolsey's recommendation, you still have $1,378 available for in-kind, and it does deplete the full $20,000 of financial.
How much for in-kind yet? 1,000?
$1,378.
So if we give the in-kind to the Summer Jam student recital, then that leaves how much, 700 and something?
If you give them the requested $627, then that leaves you a balance of $751.
751. Okay, leave the in-kind for Love Yucaipa.
Okay. So we have in yellow here, we have the CAG Ad Hoc Committee recommended awards, and then alternative number 1 is proposed by Councilmember Woolsey. I turn it over to the council for discussion.
Bob, you want to go next?
Sure, that'd be great, Mayor, thank you. Guys, we go through this every year, and then we're trying to pick down lines again. What's the total funding available for this project, for these projects, for all of them?
20,000.
Okay, what do we budget for?
20,000.
20,000.
Where does that money come from?
The general fund.
General fund, right? Community works, this is something for our community. They're all worthy causes. I'll probably say what I said last year, support them all. But I think I also said divide it up evenly, so. I understand, actually, me and Councilmember Woosley did talk about that one concern quite a bit. I disagree a little bit on the Love Yucaipa because I think they do provide something great to the town. The projects they did this year, the cleanup, mobile homes, all the stuff they did was great. So, and I've been part of that before and helped, so I agree with that. But the rest of them, I guess from my seat, I want to approve them all. I know that sounds kind of chicken maybe, but it's for our community. It's part of our community. It's involving schools. You can't go wrong. This is the stuff we're supposed to do, I think, in my opinion. So that's my feeling.
So, sorry, I probably should have let off with this. Councilman Thorpe and I sat on this, we sit on this committee. Initially, I think we walked into it with the same mindset. 20,000 divided by request equals. The problem was some people only requested $500 and then was giving them like $3,000. And that doesn't seem fair because then it would undercut people who asked for more. And relative to the faith-based concern, until we as a council say that is not allowed, I don't want to fault Active Church and Grace Point because they're allowed to ask for it. We don't have a rule that says that they can't. Moreover, I know a lot of my neighbors who don't attend Active Church and tithe attend their trunk or treat. And so it is a greater benefit. It is what, in part, it's what makes us a community. So here's the methodology with which we came to these numbers that are highlighted in yellow. We started with the lowest requests, and we approved, and then we would deduct the amount. And so we effectively did what you're recommending, except for we started with, okay, if you ask for $500, what happens if we give you $500? And then I think we went up to like maybe $1,000 or maybe more. And then we took what was left, divided by the rest, and that's why you see some numbers, they may have asked for 9,000, but we gave them 2. That was what was left when we divided up. So I think you see Yucaipa Calamasa Family Assistance got 2,000, as did the Softball Association, the Seeds for Hope. So we kind of did that. There was a methodology behind it, similar to what you're saying, which I know is going to change. Well, watch, next year, everyone's going to ask for $5,000, and then it'll be truly fair. It'll be one of those things where we just give everybody a piece of the pie, and it'll be substantially less than what they asked for, but at least be equitable at that point. So that is, and John, if I'm off base here, I think that's how we landed where we landed, which that seemed as fair as possible. Recognizing that some people, and I love the work the Rotary does. They asked for, I think, one of the biggest requests there in kind. So and I think they did get one of the biggest allocations as well. So I just know a lot of the community looks forward to a lot of the work that the churches do. I think people do come from kind of far away. At least I think last year was the first year they didn't have. I think Grace Point didn't have the light show on the west side of their building, but I know people enjoyed that kind of stuff. So that's from my seat, at least. That's where I will defend what is in yellow, and unless there's another alternative that includes some type of equitable distribution, my motion will be that we approve the recommended awards in yellow.
Can I piggyback on that? So I agree. I think I want to go with the recommendations from the ad hoc committee, and there was a lot of discussion over all these. And this is, from the times that I've been on the ad hoc committee, this is the largest amount of requests that we have had that I know of. And if you look on that column there, it was something like $55,000, extensively over what we have to divvy up. And I'll just be frank with you. I'm probably the one that is more vocal on this one, but there's one here that asks for $20,000. That's not even being considered of anybody else that might apply. So that automatically, for me, put a negative taste in my mouth. You don't care about anybody else in the community just getting a portion. You want all of it, and that did not set well with me. I think we actually ended up giving them something, right? $2,000. So that did not sit well with me because we had more people apply than we've ever had, and our funds haven't gone up. And I do think that we tried to be very fair with how we looked at each one of these. The packet of information that was on the table, there was a lot of applications, a lot of supporting documentation. It's the biggest one I've seen. I don't know if it's been bigger, but since I've been on the committee, it's the biggest one. So I would recommend going with the recommendations from the ad hoc committee. So I would second Mayor Pro Tem or Deputy Mayor motion.
Okay. So we have a first and a second. I kind of like Judy's because, I mean, with softball, I like the kid. I mean, the kids are, you go over to the Ice Street Park and stuff, and they put in a lot of effort and everything like that, and they don't get as much as the boys could on the American and the Nationals. I kind of like how Judy presented hers because you see we gave Love Yucaipa, the church, a little bit the last couple years, and then now every one of them are coming in, to get money when they have a tithe that we all do, not all of us, but there's quite a few that do that and stuff, and so I tend to go more towards the youth. So I'm going to back up Judy on that one. So, but we do have a first and a second on your guys's, and so we have a first and a second on. Go ahead.
Okay, we have one motion, right?
We have a motion and a second.
Okay, I'd like to make a substitute motion.
Okay.
Okay. I would like to eliminate the Active Church, the Love Yucaipa, the financial part, and the Green Valley. Because I can't vote on the recommended with those included. So if we don't do a substitute motion to have a vote on eliminating those, I would approve I still wish we could do the 9,000 for the team, the girls, because they get left out. I'm sorry, they do. And how we work this out, I don't know, but I still want the 9,000 I'm making a motion, 9,000 for the girls and eliminating the Active Church, the Grace Point Fellowship, Love Yucaipa, and the Green Valley.
You said you can't vote on that?
I can't vote on what the committee recommended.
Like you have to recuse yourself or you won't vote on it? Can't or won't? I'm confused.
She's wanting to, if you can adjust those, the churches, take their money and put it towards the softball girls, then she would go with your guys' plan.
There's 4,000 between Grace Point and Active, and there's 5,000 right there that could go towards the baseball. That would be my substitute motion. Where does that put us dollar-wise? 5,000, and the softball wanted, what, 2,000? And I said 9,000, so that would put them at 7,000. So we still would have 2,000. The reason I can't vote for the churches is Love Yucaipa has at least 6 churches involved. And we need to be very careful. Now, the city attorney, of course, last year when we talked about this, read to me how the law reads and all this, and I have very strong feelings about the difference between church and state, and I'm not the only one. I have already talked to other people that feel right on that we should not be giving money to churches. And we need to remember in this day and age, how many different religions do we have out there? How many? And at some point, it's possible some church or some religion is going to come to us for money. And if we would refuse that for whatever reasons, we could end up in a lawsuit.
Well, it sounds like we're being prejudiced against religions now, simply because they're a church. So until we amend our municipal code to reflect, or our standard for this, to reflect that we won't give to churches, we already said we would. And they submitted an application asking for money. They followed all the rules. They meet the minimum requirements. And now you're saying that because they're faith-based, we're not going to give them money. And so I would argue that that also exposes some potential type of liability. So if we'd like to maybe re-agendize this matter for future meetings to discuss really bringing in the requirements, I find it prejudicial to allow them to compete for something that they're allowed to, and then at the 0 hour say, no, we changed our mind, we don't like that you're going to do that.
Point of order, Mayor. We have a new motion, so I think we need to vote on that first, and then we can go to the other motion that was made by the Mayor Pro Tem and seconded by the mayor. Is that right?
So we do have a substitute motion that was stated. I didn't hear a second to it.
I seconded that.
Chris
Okay, the
seconded.
mayor, you're the presiding officer. If you want to take a vote on the substitute motion, you can do so.
Okay. So we got a first and a second on the substitute motion. All in favor?
Can we do a roll call, please?
Councilmember Miller,
I vote no.
Councilmember Thorpe,
No.
Councilmember Woolsey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bieber,
No.
Mayor Venable.
Yes.
Motion failed.
Okay, so now we have the original. We have a first and a second. So do you want a roll call on that one? Or just all in favor?
I'm okay with an all in favor.
Okay, all in favor on that?
Aye.
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 All opposed? No.
I abstain.
Motion carried.
Okay, perfect.
So can we agendize this item to come back to us to discuss maybe ironing out the rules a little bit more so that we don't have this problem? Because I don't disagree with what Councilmember Woolsey said.
Deputy Mayor, perhaps I could send an attorney-client privileged memo on that topic, and then if the mayor feels that it needs a public discussion, we could proceed at that point.
Always listen to your attorney. Thank you, sir.
All right, sounds great. Okay, so we're moving off to 17, Mr.
All right.
Benson.
I'll be recusing myself on this one.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Wait for the door to close. All right. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of City Council. Tonight, I'm presenting for your consideration an amendment to the city's law enforcement services contract with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department for fiscal years 2026 and 2027. As the council is aware, the city of Yucaipa contracts with the Sheriff's Department for comprehensive law enforcement services through the county's Schedule A contract program. These services include patrol operations, criminal investigations, traffic enforcement, school resource support, crime prevention programs, emergency response, and the administrative functions necessary to provide professional public safety services to our community. The proposed contract amendment establishes a total annual service contract in the amount of $16,163,535. After applying personnel credits in the amount of $600,450, the net contract amount for fiscal years 26 and 27 will be $15,563,085. A portion of this increase is directly attributable to the city's decision to add one deputy sheriff position dedicated to enhancing traffic enforcement efforts throughout the city of Yucaipa. Traffic safety continues to be one of the most frequent concerns, as you heard tonight, expressed by our residents, and this additional deputy will strengthen our ability to address speeding, reckless driving, collisions, and overall roadway safety. The remaining increase reflects a broader trend affecting law enforcement agencies through California and our nation. Personnel costs rise due to negotiated salary adjustments, retirement obligations, healthcare expenses, recruitment and retention efforts, training requirements, equipment replacement, technology investments necessary to remain modern policing services. However, the biggest driving factor with this year's increase is the increasing legal and regulatory costs. The growing frequency and complexity of litigation involving law enforcement agencies has resulted in higher expenditures related to legal defense, risk management, settlements, compliance requirements, and insurance-related obligations. These costs are being experienced by law enforcement agencies all across California and are reflected in contract service rates for cities that contract police services. While these increases are significant, maintaining adequate staffing levels and ensuring the continued delivery of high-quality law enforcement services remains one of the city's highest priorities. Public safety is the foundation upon which our residents, businesses, and visitors rely, and this contract provides the resources necessary to continue delivering responsive and professional law enforcement services to the city of Yucaipa. Even with these cost increases, Yucaipa continues to remain one of the safest communities in the Inland Empire and one of the lowest crime rates among similarly situated cities in our region. This contract represents an investment in preserving the quality of life, public safety, and sense of security that our residents have come to expect and deserve. Staff has reviewed the proposed amendment and determined that sufficient funding has been included with the proposed fiscal year 26-27 Public Safety Fund budget to support this contract. Therefore, staff recommends that council authorize the mayor to execute the amendment to the contract services with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department for fiscal year 26-27. I'd also like to recognize and thank the personnel assigned to the City of Yucaipa Police Department for their continued dedication and service to our community, their professionalism, commitment, and partnership they play in keeping our city safe. That concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, Bob?
Yes. Dr. Moore, what is total comp for the deputy you're adding here?
I believe on the budget, we have it outlined at, if I recall, up on the 290,000, fully outfitted with, was it 290? Ryan?
290 is the deputy plus the portion of another unit. Are there additional costs included in that?
Probably
as well?
equipment too, right?
I think the fully burdened cost is somewhere around 370.
370.
Well, I'm interested in why we put this in before we've approved the budget has come back to us. We're adding a position at, what's total comp now? Give me the number again, please.
I can answer that. It's, I believe, somewhere right around 370. As far as the question to the city manager, if you don't mind if I answer, the reason why is it has to go to the Board of Supervisors, and I have to actually deliver something this week. So the Board of Supervisors has a timeline as far as signing these agendas, and it has to go to the Board of Supervisors. That's why.
Yeah, Trevor, thank you. I understand that. We can add the traffic officer at any time. I mean, it doesn't have to be on this specific. If you're on a time constraint for the Schedule A that they've put out, I think it's 27 deputies, Chief? Is that what it comes out to? And one of them, or two of them would be traffic now? We have 28 city. 27 was on the Schedule A. That's okay. 27. So I think we're putting the cart before the horse if we're approving the position of 300+ thousand before we've actually approved it in the budget. We can approve the Schedule A, we just don't have the officer yet till we've had the dialogue on what that's gonna be, and what is that taking away from the other things we just had in a 2-hour budget workshop? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense from my seat. We're putting the cart before the horse. Is it needed? Yes. Is it valuable to add more officers? No doubt about it. But we need to have the discussion with everything else we talked about from 4 o'clock until almost 6 o'clock this evening. A lot of these folks weren't here, of what we're going to do for the next budget. So that's my position on this. I'm not against doing it. I think you can add that at any time, approve the Schedule A. We move forward if the time constraints are a couple of weeks or whatever it is. You know, if you look at salary increases, I think I talked about this earlier, and you guys know this. We can't really control that. Labor union is going to work with the county. They're going to get their labor increases. Risk management costs, man, the health cost, all that, we can't really control that. But they handle a lot of that stuff for us. We aren't litigating in our own cases if we get sued for an excessive force or something. I mean, it could come to us if it's a federal suit, but they're taking care of all that with their unit there. It's money that has to be spent wisely for risk management. But I just, you know, I don't want to sound repetitive, as I normally do, but I don't think we need to approve this until we've approved the budget. And you can add the traffic officer. If we approve it in the budget, then we can add them. I'm sure the sheriff's department will not object to that, in my opinion.
Mayor, council, we can hold off on the adding the extra deputy and bring it back and submit what we needed on the Schedule A. Trevor, would that work for the, down at
I would need
headquarters?
a vote tonight by council to approve the Schedule A minus the
extra
added
deputy?
deputy sheriff.
Okay.
And I'd have to get that to the mayor for signature.
In reality, I'm sorry, Mayor. In reality, it could come back to us in July and we approve a position and they add it. I mean, there isn't a timeline on, other than he's got to get the Schedule A approved. It's tight timeline we're working with. It came to us tonight. So, I mean, we have to have a little more foresight next time and get it a little quicker. Because they give you the Schedule A numbers when, Trevor? When'd you get them?
Just 3 weeks ago, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
But they approved the raise back in fall, didn't they?
You actually already,
Yeah.
you actually already voted on the contract amendment for the MOU increase. This amount is just simply the increase from, last year to this year.
And we had put money aside for that.
Yes, sir.
But what I'm saying, now we're adding more because of some risk management issues and one more deputy.
Correct.
And usually when you tell the public what one officer is going to cost or one deputy is going to cost, they don't understand what total compensation is.
Correct, sir.
It's everything, equipment, everything. So, that's my view on this. That's all I'm going to say about it.
All right, thank you, Bob. Justin?
Your draft budget that we had a workshop on today, did that account for the increased costs of a deputy?
Yes, sir, Mayor, council, it does.
So when you presented your draft budget today, you were aware of these numbers?
Oh, yes, I work closely with Public Safety Department.
So the budget that we gave consensus or direction on relative to proceeding with the one deputy was at this increased rate?
It was a workshop draft, so,
Right.
but in 2 weeks, we'd be bringing the full budget.
I understand that.
But that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. I've been on the council for a while. Haven't heard this many public speakers talk about how unsafe our roads are, so, yeah, I don't want to remove the added deputy from the Schedule A. I think it needs to be included.
And one other thing I wanted to point out to, for the council and the mayor and the public. So just so everybody knows what the costs are. We already did the COLA and costs back in November before I came on. And then we went and visited at headquarters. The sheriff explained everything, the huge increase. And I want people to understand so it's clear. I didn't bring this up and this item's a perfect time that nexus into that. So it's the liability costs, tremendous. What's going on now in liability, and it's not just only the operational costs of the sheriff's department, it's lawsuits. They're losing massive lawsuits. One lawsuit, sheriff mentioned to us at headquarters, $27 million they had to pay out. The deputy was found not liable criminally, but the family, I guess, or whoever filed the lawsuit, and now it all had to be, now I want to point something else out. The cost was a lot higher too.
Yeah.
It was over 2.5, I think it was 2,200,000. The county absorbed $1 million of it for us too. So, and all the cities that are in contract. So, again, I just want to bring that up. And the IT costs and those trust liability costs are rising even faster than the cost for the cost for operations in terms of the deputies, what you pay them, their benefits and salaries.
Yeah. So I understand, and maybe the public needs to understand as well. It's expensive to contract for law enforcement. Public safety is expensive. It costs money. Safety is expensive. That's why if you looked at a burglar alarm in your house lately, it's expensive. People people are okay with spending money on things that make them feel safe. If we were to treat this city like a home, we need to have safety. So this Schedule A that I'm looking at, add a deputy in a marked unit so that we desperately need more traffic enforcement in the city. You have no idea. Truly, I don't think anybody, maybe only a handful of people in this city. I drive through the city twice a day in a vehicle equipped with lights and sirens, and I have the authority to pull people over. But I don't, because it's not my jurisdiction. It's not my city to police. But it's infuriating being in a car that I could pull somebody over. The traffic violation is out of control. We have lost control of our city relative to traffic crime. Something has to be done. And it is an all-encompassing thing. We talk about, at least I've talked about it in my promotional boards, the 3 E's of traffic: education, enforcement, and engineering. And the speaker spoke tonight on what we need to do on the engineering part of it. And they're not wrong. Not a single person was wrong. In fact, the only thing wrong they said was that it requires a petition. That we know there's a problem, but we're not going to fix it because, we want you to tell us to fix it first. That is asinine. We know there's a problem, but we're not going to fix it until you tell us to. Silly. That is government bureaucracy at its finest. We need another deputy. In fact, we probably need 5, but we can't afford it. So we'll take the 1. I agree. It would have been nice to have this sooner, but I don't think that's really up to us either. No, we got this when we got this. This is one of those downsides of contracting with law enforcement is we don't get to decide. We get a bill. We decide if we're going to dine or dash or not. We got to pay the bill. So that's all I have to say about that.
Judy? No comment. All right, so, one more? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I agree with that. I was asking total comp for a deputy. The other costs, what's that number? What were the insurance costs? What were the risk management costs? What were the legal fees? What's that number?
I don't, Mayor, Council, I don't have that off the top of my, I don't have a.
Are you referring to the total increase to our Schedule A before the Board of Supervisors voted to absorb some of it?
What's the number?
The total increase?
Taking out the deputy that we've added here, what was that number of increase? What was it? Factoring in all the things that my partner has said here, a council member, he knows, he's in the police business.
Yes, the total increase, if you minus the added deputy sheriff?
Yeah, what is it?
Probably somewhere around 1.9.
Okay, 1.9.
That's rough number.
Well, we can get the number. Ryan can probably get it. You guys work together on that. That'd be great. So it's understandable. I agree with Deputy Mayor. Who's going to not want more officers? But we just had a 2-hour discussion about what we're going to do with roads and everything else, and how we're approving new positions without approving our budget. To me, it seems backwards. I don't disagree that we need it. Let's just make the case, and we can do that when we have a budget discussion and we finally get the book that we talked about of what it's going to look like, option 1 or 2 or A or B or what it's going to get to. Then we have a dialogue over it of how important this may be, but we're taking from something else if we do that. That's how government works. So we have to look at that playing field holistically because there's other issues, and I brought it up in the workshop that are very prevalent in our community. We have to look at everything. But no, it's also, I just think I'm okay with approving the Schedule A for the 1.9 increase or whatever it is, but not with the deputy until we do budget. And then if it looks like we can do it, that's fine. Like again, I don't think, maybe the chief knows, Sheriff's Department is going to care when we ask for the new deputy. They'll give it to us the next month if we pay for it, right? So, I don't know. That's my feelings, and thank you, Mayor, for the time.
Absolutely. All right, so do we have a motion on this?
I'll move approval on item 17 as written.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
I'd like to make a substitute motion The substitute motion is approving Schedule A without the additional deputy until we come back to budget and decide whether we can afford it or not. That's my substitute motion.
I'll second that.
So we got a first and second on the substitute. Okay. So on the first one, the approval of the original one, that was Deputy Mayor and I approved that one. And then we have a first and a second on the second one. So.
If you want to call for the official vote on the substitute motion first, I think we can guess how it's going to go, but if you'd like to call for that official vote. For the substitute.
Substitute vote? All right, so we have a first and a second on the substitute vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No.
No.
All right, for the original, we have a first and a second, and all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
Okay.
All right, so given that we can't hijack our police department, I need you to help me understand there, Councilman Miller. When you said if we can afford another deputy, I don't think we can afford to do this without another deputy. We have people dying in our city because of traffic. We haven't had murders. Our rapes are down. Petty larceny, I think, is at a standard. I don't think I've seen any spikes. The problems in our community revolve around extended response times for fire because we're overburdening them, and more fatalities on our roadway than I can remember in recent history. And yet we're sitting here saying, well, I don't think we can afford another deputy to deal with traffic. I think the argument is, this we can afford. What are we going to cut from the budget when it comes to us because we can't afford that? This is priority. Human life is priority. And if that means we're cutting other things from other parts of our community to include road maintenance, while it is, again, a priority, do we have PCFs that have to back up the primary collision factor that it's a deteriorated roadway has caused the collision that people are dying? I haven't seen it. I haven't heard from that. I keep on hearing speed is a factor and unsafe lane changes, which would be vehicle violations, PCF stuff. Oh, anybody aware? Captain, are you aware of any contributing factors of any of these fatal TCs we've had in the last 6 months that were roadway maintenance issues caused because somebody hit a pothole and died? No. Okay. And forgive my theatrics, but I don't think anybody's died in a car accident because we haven't had concerts in the park. But we need to cut things that are worth cutting to fund things that might save lives. This we can't afford because we have to. Where the cuts are going to come is when you present a budget to us and say, this is what we cut because we needed to fund a deputy sheriff quickly. And yes, we can fund another deputy, 3 deputies mid-year. But what are we doing now to stop the bleeding?
Councilman Miller? Not so great at math. I think I gave you too high of a number earlier. The net increase over the amended contract in 26-27, where you guys voted on the MOU adjustments, the net increase from last year to this year is 1.4.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mayor, Council, maybe what we could do, I talked to the captain, the chief, we could move, if the council wills it, we could move forward with the deputy with the understanding that we can delete it if necessary as well off the, but I just asked the captain if that'd be a possibility. If the council decide, I know that doesn't mean, but maybe that's a middle road.
Can we, Councilwoman Judy has something to say.
I know we've talked about it, and I've been in support of having the extra officer. The only hangup has been right now with me is the budget. I understand what Miller is saying, Mr. Miller is saying. Can I reconsider my vote?
You could, but we haven't actually taken an affirmative motion, so you could just make a motion. If you want to approve it as is, you could just make that motion. You don't need to go through the reconsideration process.
Okay, because we already voted on that, but it didn't pass.
Because it didn't pass.
Yeah, okay. So then I will, I move that we go ahead and approve the recommendation here.
All right.
I asked him a question during my comment. I'd like to hear. I don't want to cut him off.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, or Deputy Mayor, for letting me respond to that. Hey, it's easy to make hyperbole of all the things that could happen or may happen or have happened. No doubt about it. I spent 30 years in the business, I know that. I have no problem adding another deputy, and we probably need a traffic deputy. But we also have to do it when we approve the budget. And because there's all these other considerations, and as I said in the workshop we have, don't put me in a position where I have to pick between a deputy and roads. I don't want to be in that position. We want to try to do everything, yes, but we had quite a discussion on where we are financially. Our jobs as stewards of the city's money, as the leaders up here, is to consider all. All we're waiting, if it goes through in budget, and it looks like the discussion is we can probably do it if we take from this to do this, which will be part of that discussion we'll have, then all we'll do is we'll do it in July. We just approve the Schedule A without the additional deputy for now. We're not saying no. And I don't want it framed that I'm not supporting a deputy sheriff, another one. God knows I've told the chief I think they need more people. But it's our job cost effectively to figure out if we can afford to do it. I mean, we just talked about the fire fund in the meeting. There's issues on that side of the public safety house that we've got to figure out how we're going to pay for things. I mean, it's great to want everything. I agree, but we also we're the stewards of making these decisions on what the future's going to look like. I'll go back to my question I talked about in the workshop. The freeway corridor didn't go through. That was going to be money to provide for extra deputies and bodies and all the extra stuff we want to do. But it didn't. I don't know what the plan is. We talked a little bit about it in the workshop. We have to see what we're going to be able to do in the future to pay for not only today, but what our projected strategic plan would be of how many deputies we see added 80,000 build out. I think that's the way we need to plan. And then on the financial piece, I'm sure the finance director would like to know, okay, which direction are we going for the next 3 to 5 years on public safety side? It is the biggest bang to the budget. We know that. But that's what it is. It still is more cost effective to contract than forming your own police department. I can just quote you a million things on that of why. But it may grow into that one day. You know, the community's growing. Things may change. But for now, the sheriff's department is really the most cost-effective and best service we receive. They do a wonderful job for us. We're talking about one position here that if it looks like we approve it during budget, okay, we have a discussion over it and whatever we're going to take from to provide that, right? When it comes back to us, then it's a month later. They get the position anyways. That's the way I look at it. You know, if I'm off base, that's just the way I feel.
All right, Judy?
It's not only just the traffic. We have a real serious issue with our e-bikes, too. I mean, you know, I have complaints all the time from my neighbors whose kids go up to the community park for their softball games and everything, and they are furious at the way those e-bike riders are riding up there. What makes a difference? How soon would it make to be able to get a second officer on duty?
A second in addition to
Well, this one.
So the captain will have to answer that.
It's approved, it would take effect in July. I would say probably have it within 2 to 3 months.
The officer on duty, if we approve this now? Correct. And if we push it off, it would be what, another couple of months or so?
Depending on how long you push it off for, obviously. But then generally right now, it's 2 to 3 months. Now, if recruiting goes down, then obviously, because we were carrying 4 vacancies when I got here, we're now full. It just depends on those factors.
Okay, well, we know school is out. We know what these kids are going to be doing on their bikes. 2 to 3 months is still a long time. I was hoping we could get somebody, you know, much quicker than that. I've made this motion now, and did we have a second?
So we have your motion, and do we have a second?
I was going to second her.
Okay, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed with the caveat that we can revisit this at budget, and if we can do it, I would approve it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Dr. Moore, you're up.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This item is a opposed Senate Bill 1414 from the County of San Bernardino Citizens Redistricting Commission. As the council is well aware, and the community is well aware, slowly but surely, the state of California is eroding our local control. They do every single year, the legislative update, you hear of all the laws that they're passing and regulations to take away local control from the counties and from the cities. And this is just another example of that. As you see attached, this item in November 2020, the San Bernardino County voters approved Measure J to establish the county's Advisory Redistricting Commission. And they held a plethora of meetings, about 16 public meetings on it, and the community voted. Then the state of California, Reyes, I think submitted Bill SB 1414, introduced a state-mandated redistricting structure that overrides the voter-approved system. The county of San Bernardino and several other cities, Ontario, where I'm from and raised, and Upland, they opposed this measure. And we have attached the staff report for your review. I'm sorry, the letter of opposition for the mayor to sign. We definitely have concerns with this bill and its impacts to local, continued erosion of local control, which we have to keep pushing back on the state. There's a plethora of bills coming down and taking away local control, and this, we have to respond to it. This concludes staff's report. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Moore. John?
Move to approve per recommendations.
Okay.
Seconded.
You have any comments? Anybody? All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Miss Megan.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here this evening to provide you an update on the 4th of July, what we are calling Freedom Fest, and the Patriot Plaza, which is the two flagpole out in front of City Hall, as well as the flagpole up at Flag Hill Park. As of June 1st, 2026, donations and sponsorship and event revenues have been collected for Freedom Fest. These funds will continue to be collected up until the day of the event. Our goal is to raise $200,000, and to date, we have received $71,988 for the Freedom Fest. This money comes from ticket sales and vendor fees in the amount of $10,530, sponsorships in the amount of $60,500, and donations in the amount of $958, thanks to the Chamber of Commerce. It's important to note that ticket sales have continued to rise, and so that number has increased, and we have received a few additional sponsorships since the printing of this report. As of June 1st, 2026, donations have been received by the Chamber of Commerce for Patriot Plaza. The funding goal is $262,000. $240,000 would go to the flagpole costs and $22,000 estimated maintenance expenses. To date, we've received $958, or the Chamber of Commerce has received $958. However, it's important to note a few things on both events. First thing, that there is a commemorative brick fundraising program that will be offered for Patriot Plaza, and we are working through the details of that, but the information will be released in the upcoming weeks. Second is the Chamber is putting on an art festival on Sunday, June 15th, and all proceeds generated from that will go towards Patriot Plaza. And the city did apply for a grant for the 4th of July. Councilmember Thorpe made us aware of the grant, but unfortunately, we were notified that we did not receive the funds. I believe that concludes my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
All right, well, thank you, Megan. Bob?
Thank you, Megan, for coming up again. Just to be clear, how much money do we actually have in the bank on these, that had not been promised but delivered on these, not only the celebration, but also the plaza?
The only money that was reported is what's in the quote-unquote bank.
Thank you.
In reading the report regarding the Daughters of the American Revolution and their intent to fund the flag at Flaghill Park, I was made to believe that there might be some logistical issues that would prohibit that from happening in an effective manner, or the cost would be more than they would be able to bear, and that there's been renewed interest in moving that project to the City Hall. Is there staff aware of that? Is there any?
I just want to clarify really quick, and then Dr. Moore. They're not funding the flag, the plaque. They're funding a plaque. So if that's
Forgive me. Understood. Okay.
It's a plaque marker.
Understood. Regarding the Flaghill Park flag, there was interest from a private donor regarding that, which I understand is maybe the interest has shifted given the grade of Flaghill Park. Has anybody contacted that party?
I've asked staff to, I don't know if we have an update, we can get that for the council. But there has been some logistical issues with trying to get up to Flaghill Park and site the flag location due to the hillside terrain and whatnot.
So I ran into the gentleman at the grocery store, living in a small town and all, and I was made to believe that the intent has shifted to fund the Yucaipa, the Patriot Plaza flag, given the added costs that would go into the Flaghill Park site. You know, it's up on a hill. It's difficult to get a crane and everything up there. So, but I just wanted to see if that was
Yeah,
something.
staff can check into that and we'll get back and report back to the council on that.
Thanks, sir.
All right, John?
Megan, they generally don't state, but did they give any reason why we didn't get the funds?
I can get that information for you and have the city manager provide it to the
Just
council.
curious. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Judy? Okay. Is this receive and file? It is? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Back to Dr. Moore.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. So part of the plan, Councilmember Miller's asked, this is part of the plan of getting things set up right, making sure that we have enough funding for a lot of our CIP projects. And before you tonight, I'm for consideration of a professional service agreement with Kylie and Associates for federal legislative advocacy services. We're looking to make a little change here. We asked for 3 proposals, and we received 3. From Kylie Associates for $4,250, Innovative Federal Strategies for $5,500, and for Smith Garson for $6,000. So we did receive several proposals. Staff is recommending to go with Kylie and Associates. They have a proven track record. They sit there and lobby. Our goal is to get more grant funding and as well as direct funding to the city of Yucaipa. So the Wildwood Exchange project is important. It is an important regional project. We're looking for more monies for the city of Yucaipa. Let me give you an example. For roadways, for Wilson's 3, for all of the other CIP projects, we want to try to get direct funding from the federal government where applicable. That's our goal. So this is part of the strategy, bringing in this new federal lobbyist. And by the way, we did sunset our PIO contract as well as our state lobbyists, because we have not seen much out of the state lobbyists. And in addition, as you know, California is in a deep budget hole themselves, deeper than, probably the middle of the planet Earth, sorry. But I just, so there's not much monies they're handing out. And any monies we can get from the state, we can usually go through Caltrans, or we have a grant consulting company that can write grants for us. So we still have that ability. So not necessarily, we're looking at saving over $40,000 a year just by bringing on Kylie and Associates, the reduction in the cost of federal services, as well as reducing the Gonzales state lobbyist and the public information officer contract. That concludes staff's report. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Moore. John, you want to start us off?
I don't have any questions. Move for approval.
Oh, and then as staff mentioned, we need to approve the agreement as well, the amended agreement. The city clerk reminded me there's an amended agreement that we brought forward to you guys.
Okay.
I will second his motion for the item and the amended agreement.
All right, we got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. All right. At this time, I open the public hearing for items 21. The time is 8:01. All right, Miss Anna?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, honorable mayor, members of the city council. Item number 21 is your annual public hearing to set the solid waste rates for the upcoming fiscal year. Pursuant to the current franchise agreement, the annual rate adjustment is based on the decrease in the landfill fee charged by the County of San Bernardino, an adjustment to the operator fee of 90% of the annual change in the consumer price index for the prior calendar year, and recycling rate adjustments based on collection, transportation, processing, non-recyclable disposal, community education, state, county, city reporting, and recyclable revenue credits. On March 30th, the Solid Waste Committee, along with city staff, met with representatives from our solid waste hauler, Burtec Waste Industries, to discuss the increases to the various rates charged for their services. This year, Burtec is recommending no increase to residential rates, but is, however, recommending approval of the various commercial rates outlined in Exhibit A. There is no official recommendation from the ad hoc committee, therefore council will need to consider the different rate options on page 700 of your agenda packet. It's important to note that the city followed the Prop 218 process for today's public hearing. Notices were mailed to the residents 45 days prior to this hearing, and as of 2 p.m. today, the city clerk's office has received approximately 9 protests. With us tonight to present the annual report for 2025 is Burtec Vice President of Municipal Services, Michael Heffman. Michael is also available to answer any questions regarding the proposed increases.
Thank you, ma'am, and good evening, Honorable Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of the council. Michael Heffman with Yucaipa Disposal, a Burtec company, here to present to you the 2025 annual report and 2026 proposed rate adjustment. So first, as part of the annual report, just like to take away some report highlights, if you will. There's a comprehensive report of all of last year's activities has been submitted to city staff. But there have been more residential barrel services that we've subscribed here in the city. There's more residential recycling tons. Those increased slightly. The bulky items, which is kind of interesting, if you will, there were the same number of bulky item requests. However, it's a 36% increase in the actual tonnage we collected. So a significant increase for about the same number of requests. Sharps and lancets has also become a interesting item recently. We've had a significant increase as well in picking up sharps at the containers here. Plus, we've also added frequencies and additional service collections because the containers were getting filled up so quickly. So that's going to start here to service 2 times a month here in the coming weeks. There's also more mixed C&D and inert materials. That's a good sign of construction and demolition material. That's what C&D stands for. And with the inert, that's your dirt, rock, and concrete. So we've seen a 25% increase in the tons generated from projects here in the city, which could have been new construction. It could have been tenant improvements or demolitions. There's been a slight decrease with residential and commercial organics, which generally is seasonal. A big piece of the organics collection is green waste. So as you can imagine, that runs seasonally with the rains. And then, of course, the 1383, Senate Bill 1383, which we're all aware of, has a compliance evaluation requirement, and that every jurisdiction throughout the state is reviewed every 5 years. The evaluation here in the city actually started in August of 2024, and we're still waiting. So sooner or later, and now that I said something out loud, we'll probably get the letter tomorrow, but they are evaluating our programs, and we're interested to see what their comments have been. But we've worked with them throughout the last 2 years, and so we're moving forward and are confident in our programs that we have here in this city. Now, as part of 1383, procurement is a big piece. So as we move all this green waste and organics away from trash disposal, in the spirit of the 1383 regulations, we make compost and mulch with Burtec. It's one of the approved methods to recover organic waste products. And so the cities, as part of their programs, procures that material. You may be aware that across the street from the Equestrian Center, we have a compost drop-off site. So we're more than happy for residents to come get it. We've actually Generally try and fill it up once a month, about the third Saturday of the month, but in the spring and summer times, as you can imagine, it's more frequent. So as the piles run low, we check on it, and we actually just filled it up recently. Plus, we partner with local community gardens in the area and family gardens in Cherry Valley and Redlands, and put material there as well with big agriculture. Now, another thing that 1383 requires is education and outreach. So one of the things BIRTEC is doing this year to show the communities and what has actually been recovered. We talk so much about what's required in all these assembly bills and Senate bills, but we thought we'd take a moment to just show a quick 1-minute video to show you what has actually happened here in the city in terms of recycling. Such an abrupt stop. I apologize for that. My mixing isn't quite right on the PowerPoints, but didn't get the fade just right. But now we'll move on to the annual proposed rate adjustment. So as mentioned in the staff report, the rate adjustment begins with the Solid Waste Committee's review, in which that decision was to present the subsequent residential options here before the council this evening. The rates are adjusted and scheduled for July 1st implementation date. And they're adjusted in two ways. First is the operator fee, which is based on the Consumer Price Index, and that Consumer Price Index used is the Riverside San Bernardino Ontario Index, which for the rate adjustment period was 3.28%. But as you may know, the operator fee is only adjusted by 90% of that number. So the actual percentage increase in operator fees here used in the calculations is only 2.95%. And that would be what the hauler, BIRTEC, would actually relieve to provide the service to the customers is 2.95%. There are also disposal and processing costs, and that is your trash. Think of your black or brown barrels for residential or your gray bins for commercial. There's recycling, which are your blue containers. There may still be a couple of white ones out there. And then your mixed organics, which is generally your green container. And then, of course, there are programs and fees, like the 1383 admin fee, which is actually increased by CPI. Now, for a breakdown of the disposal and processing fees, you'll notice the components are listed down the left side. That's your trash, your organics, and then your residential recycling. 2025 is what the current rates were adopted under and the fees that are associated with those commodities. 2026 is the proposed. As you see on trash on the very first line, it was 4207 and it was proposed not to have changed to 4207. But with the adoption of the new waste disposal agreement between the city and the county, once that's finally ratified June 23rd with the county, that waste disposal agreement amount, the trash tipping fee, will actually go down. So it'll be better news for commercial businesses and customers, as you'll see in subsequent slides. So that'll actually take the rates down slightly. It's 99 cents per ton, and so that ton is included within the calculations. Organics has increased $5.49 per ton, and there's no change to organics based on the WDA. Again, WDA is only trash. And the residential and recycling increased $2.28 per ton to $76.56. Now there's quite a bit of numbers on this one, so I'll just walk you through from the left to the right. Each of the rates shown up here are monthly rates, and these are for residential. So this is the residential rate adjustment that has gone through during the subcommittee, and you'll see down the left side are your services, which is your 60-gallon service. That's a 60-gallon trash barrel, and then you have your blue recycle barrel, your green organics barrel. That is the most common service here in the city. You have your 30-gallon residential barrel, and then your 15-gallon service. The next column shows the current rates. That's what's here today, and that was adopted in 2025, the 4303 on down to the 2574 for the 15-gallon service. And then we have what's called the no subsidy. So that's the natural rate, if you will. But many, many years ago, it's probably more than 10 years now, a subsidy was put into the 15-gallon service and even to a smaller part, the 30-gallon service, that is funded essentially by the 60-gallon service. So the theory being that with smaller amounts of trash being generated, more recycling is generated and more revenue is collected. That's part of those tipping fees. And so the subsidy has been placed into the residential rates for, like I said, better part of a decade now. And so the rates, what happens is the annual increase is projected based on the natural rate. The subsidy is applied into the 15-gallon service, and then the rates are remixed into the three options that you see. Option 1, which is the same percentage increase across all rates. Option 2, which is a reduction in those subsidies that could occur over the years. And then option 3, which is the same dollar amount. Now, historically, option 1 is generally selected, which is the same percentage increase on those rates. And based on the contract calculations, that would have been 1.65% this year for each of the three services. No reduction in the subsidies is shown. And then on option 3, the same dollar increase amount, it would have actually came out to a calculation of 66 cents per service level is what would have been, or what was presented to subcommittee. But not to be left out of all the options and selections, Burtech has placed option 4 on the table for you, the city council, if you will. And we're recommending as a partnership with the community as no increase for residential single-family barrel customers. So that's the residential customers shown here that are the 60-gallon service, the 30-gallon service, and the 15-gallon service. So the rates that are current in 2025 would remain the same here beginning July 1 of this year. And so you see on the right column that's highlighted in yellow, there's no change to each of those service levels. Next, we have the common commercial and multifamily rates. So 3-yard bin 1 time a week for commercial trash. A bin is that big dumpster that's behind the shopping centers that you normally see. Generally, they're gray. The 60-gallon food waste barrel is what restaurants are required to participate, thanks to 1383 and some other legislation. And then the 3-yard bin 1 time a week multifamily service bin. So we list these because we have so many variable services that are with multiple frequencies and multiple container size. These are the most common here in the city. And as you can see, the current rates are $307.88, $49.65, and $301.78 respectively. The proposed rate is an increase of $11.45 for the 3-yard bin 1 time a week of trash, which is 3.72%. 3.44% increase on the food waste barrel, just going down in subsequent order. And then the 3-yard bin 1 time a week for multifamily is an increase of $8.12 or 2.69%. Now, I had mentioned the WDA. So once that WDA is adopted, we would anticipate it to be approved by the county. And then the new WDA rates are shown there. So the 3-yard bin 1 time a week would be $318.40 per month. And that would actually be reduced the amount of adjustment by an additional 93 cents. That's the impact of the WDA. The 60-gallon food waste barrel would be impacted by another 10-cent reduction in the rate adjustment, and the 3-yard bin 1 time a week for multifamily would be a 92-cent reduction in the rate adjustment. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, well, thank you. Want to start off, Bob?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I sat on the committee and we did kick this to the council because when you talk about rate increases for waste and water and all the other things we do, that will raise a little ire sometimes. What was that?
I want his flag.
Oh, okay.
In front of our city hall.
Yeah, let's get, that's a good idea. You know, when you're raising rates, but if it's not on residential, has no raises on their recommendation, commercial is going to have some, an increase. 3% was about the normal, I think. So though we kicked it to the council, I would recommend their recommendation because there's no effects on our residents that have regular service. It will affect businesses, I'm sure, unless you're somebody that has a bin, big giant bin all the time.
All right, thank you.
Just I want to clarify the commercial rate, multifamily. That's going to be mobile home parks.
Multifamily, yes.
All right, so there's a slight, like, but it's, I mean, it's
$8 per month.
dollars a month
It's 2.69%
on the bin.
on a multifamily.
So if there's, so for example, if there's a site that has 2 bins, we're gonna see a 16.24 increase a month.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
As well, if there was a site that had a 1.5 yard bin, it would be slightly less. This is just the most common size in the city.
So I anticipate, I mean, I'm not a park owner, but I'd anticipate they'd probably take that 16, if they have 2 containers, $16 a month, divided by however many coaches they have, and add that to their bills, I'd imagine.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
John?
Councilman Miller, was that a motion from your end?
Yeah, I motion for option 4 that was recommended for the council's consideration. That's my.
Well, if that's your motion, then I would second Councilman Miller's motion and the committee's recommendation.
Let's see if we have any public comments on this.
No public comments on this item.
Okay, so you want to close the meeting? I'm sorry. Let me close the hearing. I'm sorry. So we'll close the public hearing. Time is 8:17. All right, so now we have a motion and a second.
He had a motion, I have a second.
And do you have any comments or anything like that? So we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Mayor, just a couple comments on that. So for clarification, the motion was to approve the no increase to the residential, but you are approving the rates for commercial.
That is correct.
Okay. There was an amendment to the resolution that was provided to the city council. We added additional language to allow for us to update the exhibit once the WDA agreement is approved. So there was an amendment. I just wanted to make note of that. And then also, as far as the protests for the solid waste collection rates, we did not have a majority of protests received. We had a total of 9. So you're good to go with this item.
Okay, so we need a roll call vote.
Please.
Okay.
Okay, Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Thorpe,
Yes.
Councilmember Woolsey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Beaver,
Yes.
Mayor Venable.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
And for clarification, that was with the amendment.
Correct, with the amendment to the resolution.
Thank you, council. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that garrison flag, if I may, is at every one of our facilities, so.
Well, if you'd like to donate one,
No, thank you.
Burtec could do that, you know?
I'll run that up the flagpole, if you will, so.
All right. Now we're up to council member comments and reports. You start off with John?
I got a couple of things. This first thing's probably cost prohibitive for us right now, but maybe there's some program out there. We've had a couple people come in tonight talking about speeding on their streets, whether it's Colorado or it's Carter or Jefferson or North Bench. And they're wanting, traffic calming, traffic enforcement, speed bumps, controls, things of that nature. Years ago, we had red light cameras in the city, and then we got out of that agreement and got away from it. But I think things are done a little bit differently now with those type of enforcement tools. They also have speed cameras now, and they're becoming a big deal in the LA County area. They're starting to put them up in quite a few locations. I don't know if that's something the council and the city would want to look into to see if there's a program, see if there's some incentive out there to bring in something like that in some of our areas. I don't know. The infrastructure and the cost might be more than we're able to take on right now, but maybe it's something we can look into. I don't know, just a thought, but it may be not obtainable, I don't know. And then earlier, one of our public speakers is David Enos. He brought up that program that he's trying to start here in town for the youth. I've been talking to him off and on quite a bit, and he left before we were able to adjourn. I think he had some paperwork he wanted to hand out to everybody, but he really is just needing help getting this thing off the ground. Whether you know people that logistically, people that can help with trying to get that thing off the ground with ideas or with finances, things of that nature. I think we're going to try to get together at some point and maybe reach out to our supervisor and see if there's any help there that can help him. I know that we are financially not in the spot right now to probably be able to do much, but if we can help him get down that path a little bit, if you know anybody that is good with making ideas come to light, or organization, or think tank type thing, I think any resources that you all might have individually that maybe you could point him to, he would be appreciative. He does have a big heart for the youth, and he does have that music ministry across the street, or that business that he was doing. And I've known several of the youth in our community that have either A, gone to him to learn to play music, or have been employed by him at one point in time to help teach music, some of which were previous explorers at the Sheriff's Department years ago. So it is he has a good vision and a good burden for that, but just trying to get it all to come together has been a bit of a challenge. So if you have any insight that might help him, I think he'd be grateful for it. That's all I got.
Thank you. You want to go next?
Okay. Well, we only had one meeting in May, so this is a little lengthy, but here we go. May 14th, the City-County Conference in Lake Arrowhead. The 20th, the Cal Cities joint meeting with the Riverside people for the luncheon, and Sheriff Dicus and Bianco was there, and other people on the panel, and they spoke in regards to Proposition 36. It was very interesting. May 21st was the Peace Officer Memorial for the San Bernardino County, and that was very impressive, especially the horse, the riderless horse that they showed. And that evening then, later in the afternoon, we did the ribbon cutting for the Rollhouse skating rink. On the 27th was the Sigma meeting in the evening up at the community center. On the 28th was the Oh Wow Zoom meeting that I attend. And also on the 19th and June 2nd was the Water District meeting. June 3rd was Omnitrans. And I've given this report to the manager this morning. The discussion was in providing direction for a proposed contract between the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Operations and Omnitrans to enhance traffic safety and security through targeted law enforcement collaboration. So they're working on that. Hopefully, maybe that will help with some of our homeless issues coming up here. June 3rd was SBCTA, and they did a report on the survey that was done for Measure I. June 4th was the chamber, where our mayor spoke to an all sold-out crowd, did an excellent job. And later that morning then was the SCAG Zoom meeting that I attend. I've given a report to Sean in regards to, they did reports on expanding the RENA subcommittee to be formed, expanding it to be formed. They're going to be adding 2 more people from the Inland Empire, hopefully, to give a better representation for our area. And this will be the 7th cycle, and with the increase in membership, and then it'll be the 7th cycle, which will be a better representation of SCAG counties. However, forecast is that the numbers will probably not go down, that they probably will go up. And that ends my report.
All right, well, thank you. Bob?
Thank you, Mayor. I also attended the City-County Conference with City Manager and Councilmember Woosley. I found particularly interest in the 4:30 session they had one day on building the future, delivering housing at scale in San Bernardino County. They had Greg Devereaux, or probably everybody knows Greg from the county in Ontario, Randall Lewis and Mark Torres, and who are builders. And they gave us a great outline of what the future looks like for building, which dovetails into another session I went to, was preparing the next generation for the county's workforce. And I was lucky enough, at the first of the month, I went on a tour at Sorensen Engineering. President Pete Sewell gave us a tour. Actually, Peter, you went with it, that's right. I got with our new community development director, he was great. And just talked about what the future is and what they're doing. That is amazing. You guys have been on the tour. The technology, I mean, it's used in space right now, and combat and all the other things. So that company is growing. They're in a neat space. They're planning that, as I think. But they're hiring like crazy. And I asked him, hey, well, how many of the workforce is from Yucaipa? He knew right at 37%. So, you know, when I think about that dovetailing into what the housing needs are going to be eventually for our local people and local jobs, there's a great technical jobs. They start people at pretty decent money there. So if our young folks are looking for a career, I think Sorensen Engineering would be a good place to start. It's local, it's hometown, it's high tech, it's not going anywhere. The instruments they make are so small that you know, because everything's weight and space. It's just amazing who they're tied in with everybody, defense, and it was to have it in our own town of Yucaipa. You know, I messaged him, I said, you remind me of ESRI or ESRI back in the day, how they grew so quickly with geomapping, and now look at you guys, how Sorensen's growing. So great, I appreciate the tour that the city manager set up for me with Sherry. Thank you for doing that, I appreciate that. And Peter, you had a good time, right? It was pretty good tour. I thought you did a good job on good questions. And then other than that, you know, I want to leave it with just everybody have a safe 4th when we get to it. You know, have a good time. We're celebrating the big 250. So I know we're going to have another meeting since that, but I think we're getting prepared for that. So I think it's going to be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Justin?
Yeah, if you'd allow me briefly, I'd like to raise a meeting efficiency item for future considerations. Our regular meetings start at 6 p.m. On occasion, they do run late. And every agenda item deserves thoughtful consideration, but I think there's value in establishing a predictable framework that can promote effective decision-making, respects the time of our residents, our volunteers, and our commissioners and committee members who attend these meetings. It would help ensure important decisions are made when all participants are engaged and attentive. There are several municipalities throughout California that have adopted procedural rules or municipal code provisions establishing meeting conclusion time while preserving the council's ability to continue discussions when necessary. So the intent is not to limit discussion or public participation, but rather to promote thoughtful governance, increase predictability for residents and staff, and encourage efficient management for council agendas. So I would ask the mayor to consider directing staff to place this matter on future agendas for discussion, or if the majority of my colleagues agree on the matter, we can speak and then have direct staff to bring it back for consideration. But basically what I'm proposing is we have by ordinance, a drop dead time of 9:30 p.m. for city council meetings. They could be extended by a majority vote till 10 p.m. In 30-minute increments, but anything beyond 10:30 would require a 4/5 vote of the council to continue late. We have our youth advisory. Some of these kids might want to be involved in some more important public hearing matters that are usually at the end of meetings. And if they're older and they drive, but there's still curfew concerns, I mean, some of our meetings go pretty late. And I think it wouldn't be bad to ensure that we say, hey, our meetings are going to start and then stop at this time. So they can plan on it. Some of these meetings have gone, I mean, I think I was here one time almost till midnight back in the day. So,
Well, we had one not too long ago.
so either the mayor or if the majority council would join me in directing staff to bring this back for future consideration. So would you agree with that?
I'll agree. Can we bring that?
Awesome.
We're okay with that.
Mayor, council, if you guys consensus, we can bring it back.
Also, I attended a bunch of graduations over the last graduation season here in Yucaipa, and it is impressive what our school district is doing. I wish Callie was still here to hear it. Some of these I heard some speakers, some valedictorian speakers, and man, our kids in this community are brilliant. I mean, they truly are putting up some impressive young men and women that give hope for the future. All too often I hear, well, they're making up words. Have you heard this new generation talk? It's not even words. They're just throwing out sounds and they expect us to know what it means. Man, I feel like there's a huge generational gap there. So kudos to the Yucaipa Cal Mesa Joint Unified School District for all the work they're doing. They're doing some impressive work. I went to the high school and I went to Green Valley's high school's graduation, and they're just, it's impressive. Lastly, I've announced it a few times, but I'm going to say it again because I'm so proud. In February, my daughter joined the East Valley Young Marines, a youth organization committed to instilling drug-free lifestyles for children and teaching leadership. It's not a recruiting pool for the military, but certainly some of the leadership traits that they instill drive the youth into the military. My daughter joined in February, and on Saturday night she had her torch, the Termination of Recruit Training Challenge. It was a all-night event. All the kids got from 8 to 18 got there at 6 p.m. They didn't sleep. There was limited food, high stress, 7-mile march. They concluded in the city of Loma Linda on the south end of the hills, and then once they got there, then there was a 2.5-mile hike through the hills of Loma Linda. And then when they got back, they got to take off that white shirt that says recruit on it and put on a red shirt that says Young Marine. They got to issue their dog tags and their uniforms. So that is the last time they'll be wearing blue jeans and a white shirt. They'll actually be wearing a camouflage uniform and be part of the international program that is the Young Marines, the official youth program of the United States Marine Corps. So my daughter absolutely did an amazing job. All of them did. All the kids did a great job, but I get the benefit of sitting on the dais, so I get to highlight my daughter's great work. She was in the top of her class for her physical agility testing and was selected as the guide-on for the class because of her leadership. So outstanding work to my daughter. I wanted to give her a shout out here.
Right on. That was awesome. Well, I got to do quite a few things this, even getting in the hospital for a couple days. But anyways, I haven't had a chance to get to the Youth Advisory Committee because I go and try to get to every committee that there is. Youth Advisory, I'll stay for the whole thing, but most of the other ones I'll stay for an hour. And I haven't been able to, and I'm going to be probably not going to be able to for the next 6 weeks while I take care of the situation that I put myself in. You don't have to laugh about it. But anyways, I did get to the chamber and I did speak in front of the chamber, and it was a good time. It was very welcoming. We did quite a few things together. Yeah. So.
Ribbon cuttings and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. But I think that we're down a few committee members in Health Yucaipa and Trails and Open Spaces. This is at full. Is Trails and Open Spaces full?
I believe Trails is full.
Oh.
I think we're looking for a Park and Recreation Commissioner, Healthy Yucaipa, and maybe still Yak.
Okay. So, but anyways, I'm supporting my Youth Advisory Committee shirt. So, but anyways, I appreciate everything. All you guys and the staff been working hard trying to get stuff to us. That was a big agenda, and we got through it pretty quick. So I appreciate that. So now, City Manager, you have any announcements?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'll be very quick. I'm in keeping in following your direction. I'm pleased to announce the successful completion of a competitive recruitment process for the position of Human Resources and Risk Management Manager. The process included multiple stages consisting of an external and internal interview panels, followed by a finalist interview. Following the comprehensive process, Ms. Regina Hawkins was selected for the position based on her extensive experience and demonstrated leadership in human resources and risk management. Ms. Hawkins brings over 16 years of municipal service with expertise in policy development, recruitment, hiring, benefits administration, investigations, legal compliance, labor negotiation. She holds a bachelor's degree and has served with the cities of Colton, Montebello, and Indio. Ms. Hawkins began her role June 1st, 2026. We're looking forward to working with her, advancing in her leadership and human resources, and supporting the city's goals of transparency, collaboration, and organizational excellence. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Hawkins to the city's team.
Hello, good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and council members. My name's Regina Hawkins, and I am humbled and honored to have been selected for the position for your HR and Risk Manager. As Dr. Moore said, I've had quite a few years of experience, not only with those agencies, but also with City of Coachella and City of Costa Mesa. So the only county I have not worked for was San Diego County. But I am honored to have been selected, and I can't wait to help move the city forward in the right direction. I've noticed that your city is very mighty and very public safety oriented, and I appreciate that. And that's all I have to say. If you have any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, well, welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's it, Mayor. That concludes my
You wanna,
comments.
you wanna come up here for a picture? Come on up here for a picture.
You have to go up for a picture.
All right, ready, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, Mayor, and then thank you for that. I have one more announcement. The chief, fire chief reminded me. This Saturday, we have the Flag Day ceremony on June 13th at 9 a.m. at Flag Hill Park. So please, the honor guard, presentation of the colors, invocation, guest speakers, and burning of retired flags this Saturday. Thank you. That concludes
All
my
right.
comments.
Well, thank you. The next regular meeting, Yucaipa, will be Monday, June 22nd, 2026. And our regular meeting is adjourned, and we will now move into closed session at,
Mayor?
yes.
On closed session, I'll have to recuse from item A because I live within the boundaries of Savannah States, and then call me back out for the next one.
Okay. All right. Oh, the time, 8:37.